So I would like to
Good evening.
uh, listen to you for 1 or 2 minutes. If you want any specific topic to be taught in the related area, you please inform me so that I can concentrate on that particular point also. Because so far we have concentrated on hypothesis, then observation, then fieldwork, pre-fieldwork activity, then ethics, ethics in research. I think we covered these points. If you want any other specific point, if you want to me to touch, then you please inform me. Okay. Anyway, I will begin with research ethics because some more points are to be covered. Then I will move to the archiving and post fieldwork activities, particularly for documentation. So I will concentrate on those particular points today. As I informed you in the previous day, I was speaking about research ethics, ethics in research. Actually, here so many points are to be covered in the beginning itself. You should be concentrating on these particular terms: integrity, respect, rules, regulations, justice, dignity, confidentiality, competence, moral principles, ethical practices, values, privacy, honesty, beneficence, autonomy, non-maleficence. See, these are actually the points to be covered while writing about ethics in research. While doing research, you should be careful about these particular points. Actually, research ethics provides guidelines for the responsible conduct of research. So you are conducting the research, you are having a greater responsibility, you are actually collecting the information from the community, you are producing it to the society. So while collecting the information, you are a field worker actually, you are asking so many questions to the community people, and there actually you are trying to get the information. While writing your thesis, you are actually showing another personality from your side. Now you are actually the teller. You are narrating your experiences. You are interpreting the data, what you are having in your hand, and you are presenting it as an authority over that particular point. So while you are collecting it from the community person, you feel that he knows everything, but you are having a prejudiced mind that he is an illiterate fellow, or he is prejudiced, he is having one-sided thought. So I am collecting this sort of information like that. You may think about it. While giving it, while writing the thesis, you will have another type of psychological thinking that I am very impartial, I am very good in analyzing the data, therefore I am giving the best information out of this. Like that you will have like both are good. While collecting the information, okay, you cross check it whether it's correct or wrong, whether it is the same opinion is available in the total community, or whether this information is actually spread in different ways in different parts of the community. All that you cross check. But Actually, your research adds to the knowledge available in the society, particularly in the field of epistemology development. Epistemology means it is a knowledge creation actually. If you are working on folklore studies, after the completion of your research, that folklore study got some more information actually, which can teach to the next generation students with the help of your thesis. If you are an art student, if you are doing research in that particular field, after the completion of your thesis must add something to the curriculum. So, what curriculum is taught for the MFA students previous year after the completion of your thesis? Yes, there should be one or other chapter to be added to that. Okay, in this dimension, this new research has come. Therefore, can we teach this particular item to the next generation students? See, like that, because you are creating a sort of curriculum for the next generation. You are creating epistemology because the discipline is going to be developed there. Discipline in the sense, the subject, MFA, for example, Master of Fine Arts, it will get more gravity because of many researchers. If no research is done in that particular field, and then that discipline is very raw. But over the years, when more and more research is being done in that particular area, so that discipline becomes very strengthened. Therefore, honesty is one of the very important point to consider. Honestly report data, results, methods, procedures, publication status. Do not fabricate, falsify, misrepresent data. Misrepresentation. This is another important point. They will tell something. You are going to represent it in something else. There is a very important dictionary in Kannada. The dictionary is prepared by Kittel's dictionary. It's one of the very famous one. So many words are actually translated into English from Kannada to English dictionary. In that, there is one particular word, bhuta. There is one word, bhuta. That word is translated as devil. Similarly, another word is there. That word is Gaurava. Gaurava is actually the person. Yesterday you have seen one video where actually the person with a red turban, one bell in his hand, one whip who is beating. See, all such devotees of Mailar tradition are called by the name Gauravas. But in Kittel's dictionary, Gaurava word is there. It is translated into English, a beggar in the name of Lord Shiva. See, what happens? Kittel is right, because he has not visited the fair mostly. He might have seen some Gaurava roaming on the road. These Gauravas, though they are rich or poor or having land or not, having any other profession or not, when they are initiated to become the devotee of Mailara, Lord Shiva, then it becomes their ardent responsibility to go to minimum number of houses on every Sunday or Monday, a fixed date, and they have to beg for some alms, some rice or some ragi, something they have to. So that profession appears as begging. And of course, nowadays, money is the requirement for everybody. These Gauravas, when they actually visits for different houses, they may demand for more money also. Give 100 rupees, give 200 rupees, give 50 rupees, like that they may demand. So this looks like they're begging for money. Therefore, Kittel has represented it as Gaurava means a beggar in the name of Lord Shiva. But actually it is misrepresentation. It's not beggar. He is an initiated devotee. To become a Gaurava, certainly there are many rituals. One ritual is called by the name Hore Horudu, that is taking the weight on him. Taking the weight means it is something like making Upanayana or something. So it is a sort of initiation process. So when such process is being done, they have to follow some strict rules and regulations. So all that will be there. Unless you study all those points, if you write it in a very passing statement way, then the real meaning might be changed. Similarly, the word bhuta. Bhuta is past. Bhutkal, Varthaman kal, that is present, and Bhavishyat kal, that is future. Bhut also means devil. Because devil is the past one, whose life is not there, a dead person's soul, that becomes Bhut. But when we consider this Bhut, that is the past, with the past soul, the meaning becomes devil. But in Kerala, in coastal region of Karnataka, in Karavali, there is Bhuta Kola, a folk ritual. And there are Bhutas. It is related to spirit possession, spirit worshipping. When I said spirit worshipping, you may feel, okay, this Bhuta and that Bhuta is the same, because Bhuta, devil, means it is the soul of the dead body, dead person, who is having some desire to live further, whose life journey is ended in the middle because of some accident or some suicide or some other reason, the murder. So such souls will continue their life in the spirit form for some more years. So spirit worship means whether the worship of such spirits, this idea will come to you. Normally, this manner possession will be conducted in the form of kolas. Kolas means a night-long performance will be conducted in South Canara, particularly in coastal region of Karnataka near Mangalore, Udupi, etc. He interviewed the performer and he asked that person, what role you are actually playing here? He said, Bhuta. What is that Bhuta? What is the meaning of that? Then again the same performer said, only Bhuta. And he tried to get some answer to explain what is Bhuta. He has given some answer which is not concluding. Actually, it is not a very conclusive answer. Manner understood that Bhuta is Bhuta, that is past. Only to that extent. And by observing all other areas, he concluded that this Bhuta is nothing but devil. Devil means it is actually the soul of a dead person which creates problem to the living person. Psychologically, it comes over them and it creates some sort of problem. Okay, scientifically, whether it is true or wrong, it is something different. When we come to the belief system, Bhuta concept is that. But actually in South Canara, particularly in the communities, particularly matrilineal communities are there, some Shetty communities are there, Rai communities are there. So in that Shilpa Shetty from Bollywood, so such there are hundreds of such families actually, and there are certain communities which are belong to lower strata of society, Nalike, Parava, Pambada, etc. They are the caste names. These people actually perform these Bhuta Kola. They will enact the Bhuta role. This program began normally in the night. By 6, 7, they will start dressing themselves. It takes 1 to 2 hours to dress themselves. They put face mask, not the external mask. Actually, they paint the face. And beautifully they get decorated. And by 8:39, the music also starts. And this performer and others, they start singing the story. Actually, it is the story of the cultural hero of that particular community. There are many types of Bhutas are there. Panjurli is there, Kalkudi is there, Kalutka, then Koti Chennaya. So many. They are the cultural heroes who lived for some years for the sake of their community or some reason. They died, and afterwards their deification has happened. Death and deification process is continued actually, and such heroes will come. So here impersonation will be there. The performer earlier, he will sing the historical story of that particular Bhuta. Then the narration will come, as if the story of Raghuvamsha starts and it comes near to Dasharatha or Rama, like that. All that will be sung for about half an hour or 1 hour. Their senior generations. Till that the story actually moves in the third person sphere. Once there lived a king like that. But when the actual hero's episode comes, by that time there will be some ritual activities, and when that ritual activity is held, the priest in that particular temple, he will hand over a small sword to the hand of this performer. When the performer receives that sword, it actually gives him some sort of power actually. Power transformation is there. And by receiving that, he will start speaking in first person's voice. I am telling you like that. That means the performer himself becomes the cultural hero. That means the performer is not speaking. The dead cultural hero came in the form of spirit on the body of this performer, and now that dead person is speaking now. But in villages,
Sir, your voice is paused.
but here in this cultural context, though the soul of a dead person comes on another person and he is speaking, here it is not considered as an evil spirit. It is considered as one of the deity who came to understand the problem of their heirs or their descendants, and he came there to help them to see the prosperity of his family. So for that purpose here. Therefore, in this cultural context, you cannot write Bhuta equal to evil spirit. So like that, when you are actually trying to document your information, because you are taking the information from the community where the explanation is not necessary for them, whereas you are presenting that particular data to a particular community where actually they doesn't know anything about it. I worked with American scholars, I worked with German scholars, I worked with Japanese scholars. They came to India. We visited so many villages. If I take one of you with me for my field work, if you are coming with me, I will take you to a Chaudeshwari temple. Chaudeshwari is one of the village deity here. Okay. I am taking you. The priest will come. He will conduct Mangalarati. He is conducting Mangalarati. Is there any need to you to explain what is Mangalarati? When I said the word Mangalarati, it's enough for you. Because you know that there will be one brass plate actually. There actually some wicks are placed, some camphor is placed. So a small light is actually will be there. You will lit the light to this wick also. Then it will be taken in this particular direction. That's clockwise direction. So if you take it in the opposite direction, certainly people will object. Hey, you are not supposed to do like this, because belief system is there. This is Mangalarti. And Mangalarti is the last ritual actually during the puja. When Mangalarti is done, everything is over. Then you have to say Raja Rajaya Prashastayane, that mantra you have to tell. Then you have to pray them. You have to pray for your blessings actually. So puja will be over by doing that. Or if already puja is over, then as a guest you are coming there to the temple, then for the sake of you, another Mangalarti will be done and you will be given prasadam. So this is actually. So these items I need not explain to you. But if I am taking Peter class to the same temple, the Christian, he never visited India, okay? For the first time he came to India. He never attended any Hindu functions in America. Then tell me. I will tell him now Mangalarti will be held. Will be asking. The first one, what? What is Mangalarati? What does it mean? So then Mangalarati takes place for 2 minutes. But I have to explain him what is Mangalarati for at least 10 minutes. What it is, why it is done, etc., etc. Everything should be. And he will put me some scientific questions also. Why Mangalarati is made? Because in that Garbhagudi, sanctum, there is total darkness to show us the idol, whether they are putting the light. You may ask such a question. Understand? In Garbhagudi, since there is no light, the idol will not be seen properly. So he thought that this priest, to show the deity properly to us, he might have held the light. And that's why he is actually taking the light to all the parts of the idol. This foreigner will think like that. Then it becomes my responsibility again to explain, no, it is not like that. This is a ritual. He is having so much of links with other things, etc., etc. Then he may ask, what is the meaning of puja, worshipping? If you are able to understand all the mantras from starting to end, starting ahvanam, iti ganthanadam krutva, they begin with that particular word. Why? To invite the deity and to send away the demon spirits. First bell will be done. Apavitra pavitrova, to remove all apavitras, that is pollution. Snanam will begin. Gange Yamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati. First Nirmalya, the previous day's wastes are actually taken away and A bath will be given, then a seat will be offered, then Naivedyam will be made so that they are given food, then they will be given a very good seat to sit. The deities will be asked to bless. This is actually the puja we are doing. Since the chantings are in Sanskrit, we may not be able to understand every sentence of it. What we do is, okay, this is a ritual, we have to do like this, like this. No, any folk ritual, even the folk ritual also, we are inviting the deity, we are asking them what you want, giving a cock as sacrifice, giving a ram sacrifice, sheep, goat, whatever it is. Even sometimes buffalo in olden days, still olden days, some human beings. See, why such sacrifices are given? It is for the appeasement of the deity. This is actually thinking of that particular community. By giving this, we are appeasing the evil spirit. Now evil spirit feels happy about us and it is ready to give blessings. That's actually the. See, when you are trying to study your folk community's activities, that is folk life. If possible, every one of you please read Richard M. Dawson's Folklore and Folk Life. Folklore and Folk Life. One of the very important book actually. It speaks so many things of this sort. See, there actually, when you are looking at the folk life of the people, you want to grasp many items from it. Then you want to write a thesis. While you are writing the thesis, there actually your responsibility becomes more. Now, you have to tell these items to the people who are reading your book. Who are they? If you are writing it in English, you are having some responsibility. If you are writing it in Hindi, okay, it is a different type of responsibility. If you are writing in vernacular language like Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, etc., then also it is different. Because what is your target group? To whom you are telling these informations? See, as a researcher, you are analyzing your data is one thing. As a research writer, you are actually presenting your thesis to the people. So there also your responsibility is something. So what you understood from the field, try to symbolize it in the proper way, convert it into correct coding and decoding, then you present it to the next people. But in all this time, you should be very honest. So honesty is one of the very important thing. Who actually told it? Many a times old people will tell that. But to get the gravity, what you will tell, okay, I am the first person to identify this. Not necessary. If somebody such situation. Another one is objectivity. Objectivity is another important point in the field work. You may be a Shiva worshipper or a Vishnu worshipper. Now, for example, in my case, as you know, my name is Venkatesha, so I am Vishnu worshipper. But my work is on Mailara Linga, a Shiva tradition. I am having so much of prejudice about Shiva. There will be some sort of belief also. Being a Vaishnava, you should not worship Rudra or Shiva, etc., etc. Or in mythological context, so many times things will be there. Shiva is greater, Vishnu is greater, etc., etc. So much of things will be there. Whatever it is for your personal. You restrict it to your puja room. You restrict it to your house. But when you are entering into the field as a researcher, don't have any such prejudices. Be objective. What the fellow feels. Actually, in Mailarlinga case, Mailara made Vishnu as his Senapati. In Mailara, Narayana is the Senapati for him. So, being a Vaishnava, you may feel, why our Vishnu should be Senapati here? So, you will write another story. Though Vishnu is much stronger, one incident happened. Shiva actually bowed his head to him first. Then he requested to come with him, etc. etc. You yourself can create some story. Not necessary. If there are such stories, you try to pick those stories. Why Narayana or Vishnu is staying with Shiva in a lower position. So that analysis you can make, but you should be very objective. What the community thinks? Why community is actually worshipping those deities in that particular way? See, in tribal communities, you can see, in many cases I have seen, the family of Shiva. If you see, Shiva is there. When you are coming to the other stories, there will be Virabhadra also. Virabhadra is also considered as son of Shiva. So there will be so many. A family structure will be available even for the deities. But when you go on studying different communities, all the communities will not have only Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara as the chief deity for them. For example, in Karnataka, a pastoral community by name Golla, that is Yadavas in Uttar Pradesh, almost similar type, who are actually cowards earlier. Nowadays, because of occupational shift and other things, they have become shepherds, but basically they are cowards. They are worshipping one deity by name Junjappa. Junjappa is neither Shiva nor Vishnu nor Brahma, but over the centuries, because of the Brahmanization, because of the Sanskritization, if possible, you try to read M.N. Srinivasa's book. So there actually you will get all these developments, how actually cultural overlapping is happening, cultural mixing is happening, acculturization happens, etc. Those things you can see. There actually, this Junjappa is considered as the incarnation of Lord Virabhadra. His characteristics are almost equal to Virabhadra's characteristic, etc., etc., and a very fabricated story will be told in that particular epic. So, you cannot expect some prejudiced thoughts in the village. So, what community feels, what community considers, those things are very important here. So, try to be objective while picking the data, and also try to get a testimony for such informations. Testimony why for this Virabhadra, why for this Junjappa, etc., etc., you may get. No, you are not doing the research only on mythological issues. You may work on food habits. You may work on medicinal practices. You may work on color combinations, organic colors which are prepared by a particular community. Then one informant may give you the names of some leaves, some roots, some stems, which are used, or some fruits, flowers, which are used for the preparation of a particular type of color. Today, gray color for Navaratri. Yesterday, it was green. The previous day, it was yellow. So, Navaratri every day, it's having some sort of relationship. So, if you study ritual, you have to think about color. If you study about the painting activity, there also you have to think about the colors. But you may have crayons in your hand today to teach to the young students. But In a tribal community, these colors are actually being prepared by the leaves, fruits, etc., flowers, etc. So you have to testimony. You have to see the results in the proper way. Some informant may tell you that this color is being prepared like this. Okay, you may have time to go to forest to collect those leaves, to prepare that paste, and then you may try it on your canvas and you can come to the conclusion, yes, this is actually a organic color prepared by this particular community. Siddhi community in Karnataka near Ankola, they are actually doing this. But all the time it is not possible to test in scientific way. So for that purpose, what you can do is you can cross check. So this informant is told. So next day you are meeting another informant. Okay, you ask the same question. You may get similar answers. If truth is there, only one answer will be there. If the said answer is wrong, then multiple answers will be there. Because wrong answers may be anything, but right answer, always it should be same. So in that way, you can collect the correct information. So that's another important. Then comes the question of integrity. You are going to the field. Certainly in many tribal communities, external people are not allowed. In one Irula community is there. One of my friend actually did a lot of research work in that. They were living in the deep forest area on the slopes of the hills. To reach that particular place, we were supposed to walk 3-4 kilometers. Okay, after reaching that place, they are having one sort of ideology. Those people who are wearing pants, those who are wearing white shirts, they actually cheat us. That is the concept there. See, in many films you might have seen, the village people are seen as they are illiterates, they are not having good knowledge, etc. in films. And only at the time when the party is going on, when this fellow starts singing a native song, then only all the people will start appreciate and heroine will get attracted towards that hero, etc. Story turns. But before that, the concept is a fellow comes from village means he is illiterate, rustic, etc. Like that, those people also can have the same idea. See, if you are reading a detective story written by an Indian in India, the agent may be by name Mahesh or Purushottam, he will go to Pakistan and he will show his, in a disguised manner, he will destroy some of their places and he will come back safely and he will be seen as hero. If the same story is written by a Pakistan writer, what would be the story? In place of Mahesh or some Mahmood or somebody who actually comes to India, he spoils all that. And in this story, if the other nation's person is villain, in his nation's story, this nation's person will be the villain. Is it not? Therefore, when you are having your prejudiced ideology about the community whom you are actually studying, why don't you think that they are also having some sort of negativity about you? So, they are not ready to open all the information. They are not ready to give you whatever you want. They will keep some of the informations in there and only. Particularly when you ask about medicinal practices, you will not get complete answer. They will tell. If I tell all the news, all the information to you, the medicine will not work. It will lose its power like that. But only your pharmaceutical professor can tell, no, when combination is placed properly, the effect should be same. But if you ask that village medicinal practitioner, he will tell, no, if I reveal all the secrets, all the formula, then the medicine will not work. Therefore, I cannot teach all these things. Only I will teach to my student. The student may be his son, maybe is one of the apprentice. So, like that. So, it is your responsibility to convince him that the information given by you will not be sold with any pharmaceutical company. If I am able to get some money, certainly I will share that money with you also. So like that, you have to give a sort of assurance. Therefore, that integrity is very important. And when they are giving some secrecy about their community, if you make it open, it will be very difficult. You know about denotified tribes? Denotified tribes. I made a particular study in Karnataka about one particular denotified tribe. I visited 160 hamlets of those. And myself and Peter Class, we worked together actually while doing this research. He's an American. We went there. We had one particular question. We prepared a 3 pages of questionnaire, but in between we added some 3-4 questions. My question was, how many members in your family in the present generation, in the previous generation? That means I want to know about the past 50 years of life. How many people in your family were booked by the police for street fight, for robbery, for something else? You may feel that I am very vindictive, I am actually very defaulting type of researcher, etc. But I am having my own interest because British called them, they are thieves, robbers, etc. And they are not having lands. One earlier stage there was hunting and people were living with the hunting products. Forest was open for them. They were taking all the forest products without harming the forest resources. But nowadays what happened? In the name of national park, we are actually putting the boundary for all these things. In the name of development, we are actually asking these forest people not to enter into the forest. We will brand them as woodcutters, sandal truckers, etc., etc. So many problems our modern society has created to these tribal people. So actually they are not having a good earning method. So in such cases, they actually entered into robbery, theft, etc. So though they became denotified, see, you are a theft. First we are calling them, you are a theft. So you are a thief, we call them. Okay. Then I want to change his name because we are calling him very badly. Therefore, we should not call him as thief. So okay, from today onwards, what I am calling him? Hey, you are not a thief. See, if I call him, you are not a thief, even then the stain actually retains there. See, in many of the communities, it is happening. So we conducted some research. Ultimately, we prepared a very good report also. And one fine day, we both, myself and Peter Class, sat together. We discussed a lot, more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Then we decided not to present this report to anybody. You may wonder, after putting a lot of effort, we spent a lot of money for petrol, lot of days for our travel, lot of research we did, but we are not ready to present because actually certainly the report harms the feelings of the community. And it doesn't support the government also to make some good supportive activities. When our research is not able to give option for supporting activity, when our research is not supporting the community to feel high of themselves, then why we should give such report to open field? So such sort of responsibility, this is called social responsibility actually. This social responsibility and carefulness is very, very important. I told you previously that Saudati Yellamma temple had a bad history of having Devdasi system. Devdasi system is actually allowing a young girl to become prostitute in the name of deity. So, with my all enthusiasm, I will go to 200 houses. I will take a list. I will call all the women. I will ask whether you are or not, etc. And if I prepare a research, am I careful? Am I having any social responsibility? Certainly not. You may feel okay to give pension to such people, etc., etc. You may need this report. Okay, then there are different methods to collect such informations without harming the feelings of the community. You have to create a sort of confidence in them. Then they themselves have to come forward to give such data, and government should work in tandem with them, in coordination with them. Then only through certain agencies you can help the people of that sort. So you can bring social change, certainly. Social action certainly brings social change. No doubt in it. Social change is necessary. Over the years, in the previous day, the belief might have been added with blind beliefs. Now you are having enough scientific knowledge, so you can split it separately. What is scientific knowledge, what is not, you can tell them. But at the same time, you are not supposed to create a sort of anguishness in the community by your research. You should not feed them some wrong information that you are suppressed, you are actually neglected, you are sidelined, you are submerged, etc., etc. So many things. If you feed these informations, that also creates a sort of problem. Okay, so try to be very responsible and be openness. If two students are going to the field work together, then both are maybe working on same community. So you are also having data, they are also having data. You know our mentality. When I collected one interview by one particular person, the other person will come. Hey, you conducted this interview, 1 hour interview. You please give me a copy. I will also use it. Then you will say, this fellow, till morning, till evening, you are wandering here and there. I sincerely sit and collected this information. I will use this only for my research. I am not ready to share with you. So this is our common mentality. One thing you try to understand, the data can be shared with anybody. You can share the data as a raw data, because you are also having the ability to analyze it, and the other person also is having the ability to analyze it. So your analysis certainly will be different from him, because your framework, theoretical framework, his theoretical framework, his understanding, your understanding will be different. Looking into the same data will be different. Therefore, to certain extent, openness is okay. But that doesn't mean you help lazy people, or you support the people who are not actually sincerely works, etc. It is not like that. But
like that,
ಏನಪ್ಪ?
like that.
Like that. So you just say hi ಹೇಳು.
Hi.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Come this side.
Well,
ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ. Come here. Yes. Say good evening. Good evening. ಹೇಳು, say good evening.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Bayalama.
ಆಯ್ತು. Go and sit.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
So see, sharing of data or keeping the data with openness, it should be done a little bit carefully. The data belong to whom? See, actually intellectual property point is there. That also we have to discuss at one particular time. Particularly these food practices, medicinal practices, beverages, etc. The community actually owns the ownership of that particular item. For example, Kalari poet, one martial art is there actually. This martial art is practiced, that Kalari medicinal practice is practiced by one of the Kerala tribal community. Now it has become world famous. So, what to do? If this art form becomes famous and if it earns a lot of good money, the money should reach to the people who actually owns it. So such informations are there. I will tell you one small incident. In Karnataka, what has happened? Like me, there are so many researchers who visits different villages, collects folk tales, etc. etc. One by name Basaji, maybe one high school teacher or a college lecturer, he went there, he put a tape recorder in front of her, and he asked her to tell a story. She told a story. With your experience, you tell me, what would be the benefit to that lady to tell this story to that college lecturer or school teacher? What she might have got for telling this? She might have get some betel nuts, some areca nut, betel leaves, maybe some tobacco pieces, okay, or maximum 5 rupees, 10 rupees, or 15 rupees. Is it not? Because she is not knowing that what item she is actually giving to him. What happened? This college lecturer met another university professor like me in one of the conference, and there actually the same story was told to him. What the college, this high school teacher got by this lecturer by telling this story? Can you imagine? Maybe they might have sit for a tea sometimes or some evening party. Okay, during that time this story is actually exchanged. This university professor got it. What is the benefit factor? Maybe 100 becomes 1000 here. Not more than that. One fine day, this university professor met our Girish Karnad. You know who is Girish Karnad? Girish Karnad is Jnanpith awardee. He is a film actor, particularly he worked in so many dramas from Mumbai. He's a great actor actually. He's a great director also. He wrote many good plays. He's a playwright. So this Girish Karnad got it. One fine day, this Girish Karnad told the same story to one of the filmmaker, Sri Hari Kode, and it becomes a good news in Karnataka at that time because the storyteller also got 1 lakh rupees remuneration. It's a good news. Everybody is right. Everybody did not want to keep their knowledge with them. They transferred it to the maximum extent to the person whom they can related to one particular lady from the community, and where that lady learned this tale, she learned it from her grandma, because it is also not the same story. The story is none other than, I think, it is Nagamandala story, I believe, if I am right. Nagamandala, one of the very important film actually came in. So these type of things happens in medicinal field. In a village, if you are able to get one particular type of medicine, for example, in Karnataka, in one particular village, Narsapura, a person is actually serving the medicine for cancer. I don't know whether it is scientifically tested or not. Recently, when Corona is in its maximum stream. During that time in Andhra Pradesh, one by name Anandaya, his medicine made a lot of sound actually. And even Andhra Pradesh government made an inquiry to know the scientific assessment of that medicine, and a lot of efforts are being made. Of course, in a special condition, such efforts are made. But for many of the medicinal practices, such efforts are not made actually, to know whether it is scientifically approved or not, scientifically scaling or not. So such things are there actually. So in such cases, you, the researcher, you should have if there are any monetary benefits, that should be shared by the community. Similarly, if the knowledge is actually utilized for creating curriculum, for creating academic books, for creating some uh, market products, in all such cases, the credit should be given in the proper order. That's actually the point related to IPR, intellectual property resources. Okay. Similarly, being a researcher, it is your responsibility to have respect for intellectual property. Then confidentiality is also equally important. Confidentiality. Responsible publication is very essential. Cut and paste is very common nowadays, but be aware of plagiarism. If you take the information from others' book, so certainly it will be catch hold later. So responsible publication is very important. If you prepare your students or your fellows to work on, proper mentoring is also equally important. You have to have respect to your colleagues. Colleagues not always in the equal status, sometimes maybe in the higher status, sometimes in the lower status also. So you may have a field assistant who can bring and who can collect the information from the field and hand over to you. You need not neglect them. You give enough respect to them and try to mention their names also in your book. Then social responsibility, I already told. Non-discrimination. You are going to a village. If a lady is giving information, her husband certainly dominates. And he will ask her to keep mum and he wants to give the information. It may be quite natural in villages. Okay, try to elicit the information from both and try to highlight which information is actually given. Regarding ritual practices, certainly women will have more information than the gents in many cases. Only in case of epic singers, it may differ. If a male person is an epic singer, then he may have lot of information with him. Or if he is a traditional priest, then he may have information. Otherwise, in common people's position, so it will be different. And try to improve your professional competency. Otherwise, what happens yesterday when power off, I am not competent enough to immediately attend to those things. So I will get nervous. Providing the information becomes disturbed actually. So in your research also, see, our theories are developed. I don't think whether Shubham is actually arranging for theoretical understanding of different theories actually. Actually, cultural evolution theory is one of the very important theory. Then structural theory is another important theory. Levi-Strauss and W.J. Prop, they have worked on structural theory. Then Milman Parry and Albert Lord, they worked on oral form-like theory. Oral form-like theory. And then lot of developments are happened and contextual theory is developed. Then performance theory is there. Recently, Laurie Hanko developed a multiforms concept, etc., etc., etc. Why a researcher needs these theoretical developments? See, some 50, 60 years back, or 70 years back, okay, 75th year, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So, during 1940s, 50s, the important theory was structural theory. How it was helping folklore or this art research you see in the earlier stage, they would like to write about the history of the things. If you want to study a community, so you will start. This community appears to be migrated from Rajasthan during such and such year. So like that. If you want to write the history of a particular king, you will start writing the history of their migration, their beginning, etc. Like Chanakya, Chandragupta, and Bimsara, Ashoka. So like that. So because the thought was like that only. Because evolution theory always speaks about whether it is monogenetic or polygenetic, that is whether it is established in different places or in one places, etc., etc. And after some days, another person will come and he will disprove, no, this is not the theory. Then he will propose another origin theory. So like that, this was the research. In social science, I am telling you. But later when structural theory comes, it was the time of pen and pencil and paper. So there actually every sentence was important. People started working on those things and they wanted to analyze that. As I said in the previous day, Rama went to dash, you will put forest there because it is having interlink. So actually structural theory tells this one only. How a word actually fixes in the sentence, how a sentence fixes in the total epic, and how it is actually connecting the whole story with it. These type of structural analysis. A film means there should be a hero, there should be a heroine. Only with these two the film will not end. Certainly there should be a villain and there should be a fight between the hero and the villain, and ultimately heroine should marry hero. So if anything goes in different way, so it is an experimental film, we tell. So it is not a mass class film. Like that we start analyzing those things because we are having set ideas in our mind. Next to that comes tape recorder. When tape recorder is there, at that time, this Milman Parry, Albert Lord, their theory has come into fore. It is oral formula theory. They actually concentrated on the singing method. How many times Tani Tandana is repeated? How many times the same sentence is actually repeated? The Pallavi, Anupallavi, we tell. So, first two lines, it will repeat at the end of every paragraph. So, like that. It's having some sort of structure, but some lines are very important. So, oral formula theory is established. But in the present day, the video is actually identified. Scientific development from pen to tape recorder to video camera, and now contextual theory is very important. Video is very important. If you go to a particular village, you can take the video of the whole village so that your context is ready with you. When you come back, you can recreate that context again in your TV. You can see all the corners. You can make a lot of analysis. So this contextual analysis, performing analysis, it is possible nowadays. So your fieldwork method, your fieldwork equipments, your fieldwork observations, that will correlate with the theory what you are using in the present day, and those things actually will help. So your competency also is equally important. You have to try to understand the theoretical perspectives first. It becomes easy for you. You try to make a list of what all the theories can be applied for your research. See, all the theory will not be applied in full form. Now and then, here and there, in different ways, different theories actually supports your vision. So with that, you try to inference some new items. Then comes legality. Legality is also another important item. Animal care is also another important item. So the people who actually involved in it, their
Sir, hello, sir.
interest also should be.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, can you share some notes about it?
Oh yeah, sure. I am actually thinking of that because 6 days I am teaching actually. I will produce one notes on observation, one notes on hypothesis, one notes on fieldwork, pre-fieldwork activity, post-fieldwork activity, then fieldwork, actual fieldwork, ethics of fieldwork, characteristics of field worker, ethics in research, okay, plagiarism. These points I
Yes, sir.
can give
Yes,
one
sir.
by
That will help us very much.
okay, I
That
will
will
share
help
with
us very much.
Shubham, and I may need some 5-10 days time for doing
Yes,
it,
sir. Yes, sir. You can take.
but I will share it so that
Yes,
you
sir.
can.
That will help us very much if you
Okay,
share. Thank you, sir.
sure. Huh? Please do one thing. If possible, you please make a list of points on which notes is required. Like this. I told you some 10-15 points now. If any other point is missing according to your syllabus, you please just ask me. I will try to provide that.
Sir, on which topic you taught it? On which topics you taught us? I We want those notes on those topics, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir.
Hello?
On those topics, sir, you taught us
Huh.
in previous days. We want notes on those topics only.
Okay. That I will prepare. That I will prepare and I will give.
Yes, sir.
1 page or 2 pages.
We want only those topics which you taught us on previous days.
Huh.
We want only those topics which you taught us.
Okay. It's fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Right.
sir.
Right. Then now, uh, so almost we are reaching our time, but I would like to give you 2 to 3 examples how we are going to analyze the data, because this is also another important area where you have to observe. I will use one song, folk song, for this analysis. I will tell you one small epic story, and I will try to analyze it. And then I will tell you one tale, and I will ask you to analyze that particular thing. First, I will come to the epic. See, this epic is belong to Golla community, the epic of Chinjappa. When I said Golla community, they are cattle herders. Cattle herders means what is the requirement? They are having a lot of cattle with them. You know, drought is actually always a burden on them. When drought is there, they will take their cattle flock or sheep flock from that desert area to the forest area. It will be a migration. It's a temporary migration actually. They are wandering community. We call them semi-nomadic community. Nomadic. They are moving from one place to another place. Semi-nomadic. Because they are having a hut in one particular district, which is having less fertile land. So they will take the cattle, cows, oxes, buffaloes with them to the neighboring districts where the forests are there, hilly region area is there. So they will. The story actually belongs to three generations. First generation will go, something happens, comes back. Second generation comes back. Third generation is going. No third generation story will stop. So it's a routine actually going 3-4 months in one particular direction, visiting so many 15, 20 villages in different places, herding their cattle, coming back, etc. This time he is going. When he crossed a particular river bank, he has to get a grassland. He is supposed to leave his cattle there. But this time, when he go there, there is a fence. There is a fence. He cannot understand the meaning of what is fence. He went there, he broke it, he allowed his cows to graze the land. Suddenly what happens? Few soldiers will come. They will catch hold the cattle. They will tie it to some poles. They will tell, this is our land. If you want to graze your cows, you have to pay tax. You have to pay tax. Try to catch the situation. This fellow gets angry. He will call the person, landlord. Because these pastoralists, they are not having the concept of landlords. This is the time of establishment of agricultural activities. When agriculture became prominent in place of hunting, the forest, see, during hunting, you can hunt, I can hunt. Whose arrow falls first? He will be the owner of the prey. That is Kiratarjuniya story tells. But in agriculture, it is not that. They will fix the boundary. This much is my area. This is your area. I should not enter into your area. You should not enter into my area. The whole cultural concept changes when agriculture actually becomes the rural dominated culture. So this fellow will go there. He will call that landlord and he will ask, see, I am allowing my cows to graze this grass. The other fellow tells, no, you are not allowed. You have to pay tax for it. Then this fellow asks, sun gave the light. Rain god gave the water. Wind god brought the seed. That was fallen here. Mother Earth allowed the grass to grow on her surface. You are putting the fence, stating that this is mine. What you did to get this grass. Why I should pay grass to tax to you? I'm not going to give tax to you. See, this part of the epic becomes very, very, very important to the community. Whenever I ask them to sing a particular important part of the song, immediately that epic singer will start telling this story only. Why? Because this is actually their proud. Through this particular story, they want to tell their youngsters to feel proud. Understand? It becomes very important to the community. So community feels that, okay, we fought against polygars, local chieftains, the local kings. We are great. We actually fought for our cows. We did not allow that person to stop us. Our cattle went there. They actually grazed that grass. So we actually uphold our dignity of the community. Like that. So this is the point to be extracted. If you just listen the story, And if you stop there, so it is not possible, it is not enough actually. So you have to try to identify how the community is connected to the present situation, because conflicts are very common in the society. Different communities are having still fights, either as vote banks or because of the politics of the politicians or for different reasons. Nowadays, for land ownership, for different reasons, communities are in fights. So every community wants to tell that. See, in the beginning, Brahmins from the head, Kshatriyas from the shoulder, Vaishyas from the stomach, Shudras from the legs. Now you have to invert it. Who is top? With reservation policy, first you have to consider, then others, then others, then others. Why? Because it is social requirement, social awareness, social movements, social change, social action. So, so our ideologies are changing. Now, the castes are having conflicts with. Earlier, they had a different type of conflict. Now, they are having different conflict. Recently, in one place, one Dalit fellow touched a idol in the temple, so he was punished with 30,000 rupees and he was asked to expel. Next morning, some 30 people came. Okay, each of us is ready to pay 30,000 and we want to touch the idol, allow us. See how the thoughts are actually changing. So communities are actually having different types of ideology. We cannot say this is right, this is wrong, this is etc. etc. We have to analyze why such developments are being taking place. We have to give thinking to our brain now. So in this case, we have to read the data. Which data is actually very dearest one to the community? Which data the community wants to project? Which data the community wants to hide? From different corners. So it's a big challenge actually. Getting the data is very important, fine. But after getting the data, analyzing it is also equally important. Try to understand the evolutionary theory in the very beginning. When you understand the evolutionary theory, you will understand why diffusion has taken place, why culture is actually spread in different corners in different ways. When you able to understand the diffusion, then you can understand how culture is lost. People are telling, you might have heard of your parents telling that, okay, our olden days were very good, today it is not so good. But being a software engineer, you may tell your father's salary was very less and today my salary is good. So really, which one is progress actually? Getting more money or getting more comforts or getting more satisfaction? Knowing less is very happy situation. Such feelings is also there. When you know more and more and more, you will get more confusions. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think it is 5:40, so it is time to conclude. And there was some error at the end. Anyway, I will try to conclude this day's talk with two, three sentences. What I am interested to tell you is field work and collecting data is an integrated part of research. We have to get the information. You cannot collect the information just as out of context sources. When you want to collect the information, you please collect such information. See, when you collect the information, you try to collect the context details also. If possible, you make a videography or at least take photos. And if there are informants, you collect the background of the informant also. Why you have to collect the information of the background of the informant? Because the opinions are changing. Whatever the information you are getting from the informant, it is informant's opinion, it is not the ultimate. There are possibilities of counter argument for it. Different type of analysis are possible for it. Therefore, you should be very open while collecting the information. At the same time, you should not have prejudice in your mind, because what this fellow, how much information can he give? Like that, such sort of looking down mentality should not be there. Because it's very important that he is better than us relating to the customary practices and ritual practices. And if it is food and medicine, he might have get more experience than us in that particular field. Therefore, proper respect to them is important. And another thing is, whatever the knowledge whatever the knowledge is giving to you, it is actually the knowledge of the community. So intellectual property is actually owned by the community, not by the individual. Therefore, in your research writing, you please try to mention those things in the proper way. Just by mentioning the name of the community, just by mentioning the name of the person, certainly your value will not be deteriorated. Be aware of that. So be open, be sincere, be honest. That's one thing. Then use more equipments to collect the information. Because you can observe by your two eyes. But if you document it in video, later again you can go back to the same situation on your TV screen or laptop, and you will be having more opportunity to grasp more information from that. And try to develop the knowledge to read between the lines. There is one sentence. Oh, this tree has gone. Sorry, this tree has grown to this height. Maybe what is the inference of this sentence? What is the meaning of this sentence? A person saw a small tree, which might be a small plant a few years back. It has grown to some 5 feet, 4 feet, something of that height. And after looking at that, he expressed this. If you want to structurally analyze, the meaning is only this. But if you want to explain this with a psychological understanding, emotional understanding, Raju, the small boy, he was with this elderly person. while sowing that particular seed or that small plant, and the plant has grown to 4 to 5 feet, but Raju did not grow to that height. Why? Because he died long back. So just by looking at that tree, he got the memory of his son, Raju, and he recollected that. So this is actually the ability of analysis. If you are able to grasp this particular item, then your data becomes more handy. It produces a lot of meaning, and these meanings actually helps you in your creative writing also, in your thesis writing, or in the production of a new canvas painting in your name. So I hope after the completion of your research, you can recollect these points, and if you are actually aware of these points during your collection of data, certainly you can collect in a better way, classify them in a better way, because classifying the data is also very important, and collection, bringing them everything, dumping in your table. At the time of writing the thesis in the last 6 months, your research supervisor will ask to give the bibliography, to identify different sentences from different books. Again, you will rush to the library to search in which book that sentence was there. Sometimes the book is not available. Sometimes though book is available, you will forget in which chapter it was, and you are not having enough time to read the whole book once again. So it will be a big mess. So be systematic in the beginning itself. Have different files in your laptop. Try to keep the detail in order. So certainly your research will be very meaningful. So with this I conclude for the day. If you have any questions, please. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Come on, say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Huh?
Actually, everyone,
Huh?
sorry, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I'm telling to all students,
Huh.
I, thank
you
you
should
so
please
much.
take notes while
Thank you.
sir is orating something, while he is giving you lecture. You should take notes. You should make points. है ना?
Okay.
You have your pen and paper with you and note down everything he is speaking. मेरा यकीन मानिए
Ma'am,
ये आपके बहुत
ma'am,
काम आने वाला है.
we noted some points, but we could not note all things, so that I
ना
told
आप
to
उसको
sir.
पॉइंट वाइज नोट करिए. आप वर्ड बाय वर्ड नोट करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो वो कभी नहीं हो पाएगा. टेकिंग नोट्स इज वेरी डिफरेंट थिंग एंड टेकिंग डिक्टेशन इज वेरी डिफरेंट थिंग. Please try to make distinction between the two things. I am asking you to take notes, not to take dictation. Okay? मेरा यकीन मानिए ये आपके बहुत काम आने वाला है. We are ending the class now.
Yes. So thank you.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
I will leave now.